Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
Welcome to another all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, and this time we hope it actually starts recording correctly, because, well, when we first shot this episode, it just didn't want to record at all. Nevertheless, I am your eternal host and co-creator, Wheelz21. Joining me is the other co-creator, who is here a good majority of the time. However, he likes to disappear and reappear. It's Projekt RDM.
What up?
Alright, so we're here tonight, and we're going to be joined by Sound Out later due to the fact that we actually did record our discussion topic weeks in advance, because Sound Out, at the time, was dealing with a huge-ass new, college course that he had to do, which was one of those quick semesters. It was like a 5 to 8 week thing, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. But right now, it's me, Projekt, joined with our, anchor for the first half of the show, Visible Ninja.
Yo!
And the three of us here, we're going to be talking about the news, like I said, and then we're going to go to our discussion. So for that lit list tonight, we're going to be quickly talking about freaking the Go-Onger Grand Prix, which is the Go-Onger Returns movie, the Uchu Sentai Kyuranger vs. Space Squad detail movie poster and trailer, as well as that teaser for the Ranger Slayer Megazord appearing in the Shattered Grid comic that will be out, I think, either later this month or early April. Or it's already out right now.
Next week.
Okay.
It's next week,
so,
because I pre-ordered the variants.
So anyways, yeah, let's get into the news before we get to our discussion, which is Uchu Kita, space time, space tokusatsu. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. But first off, let's go right into the Shattered Grid comics, where we have the Ranger Slayer Lord Drakon's freaking Megazord, which actually will be appearing in June. Now, looking at the article itself, and it's going to be issue 10 of Go-Go Power Rangers. So, guys, what's your thoughts on the overall Megazord and the additional covers where we have, SPD, RPM fighting his Samurai Legion armies and all these weird alternate covers? So, what's thoughts on Ranger Slayer? Projekt, you first.
I think it's an interesting design. As far as the comics are concerned, I've already pre-ordered 2 of the variants from my comic book shop, so I'm pretty stoked. I basically told my comic book guy, Keith. His name is Keith. I'm sorry, but yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what variant they get. Just give me the variant. So I don't know. It'll be surprising when it comes out. So yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Storyline.
Visible Ninja, your thoughts?
Oh god, it's all kinds of crazy shit, and you know what? The Digicross is strong with this one.
Yeah, you've been saying that since last week or.
Well, it reminds me of something from Digimon Cross Wars or Digimon Fusion or whatever. But yeah, my hopes for this whole crossover are kind of low. But hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised, though I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there will be surprises in this crossover, but by the time we ever get to read it, it'll be spoiled by all the diehard avid comic book fans who are able to at least get one because they have a store nearby to order these things. Because for me, my closest store is not handicap accessible, which is kind of ironically weird that it's not handicap accessible and kind of too far away for me personally to drive myself. Because it's, in that driving range distance of where I may pass out at the wheel if I'm out too long. Yay! Thanks, body. You're killing me now. But yeah, no, nevertheless, I look forward to reading Shattered Grid when I get the chance, if it's in the whole, graphic novel version, then having to wait individually for issues to come out almost weekly or bi-weekly or however they do it. Alright, guys, so... What?
I think it might be a monthly.
Alright. So, guys, here's a question. What should we go with next? Should we go with Go-Onger or should we go with, Space Squad?
Space Squad.
Space Squad? Actually, no, let's save Space Squad since we're going into a discussion about space, actually. Duh.
Uchu Kita.
Yeah, Uchu Kita. Oh wait, that's right. Visible Ninja was also in that in the recording. Why did I forget that you were in the recording? I just edited this morning the recording to clip it. You know what? Who knows? These days of mine. Who knows? I'm forgetting everything and blundering the show. Who knows? Who cares? Whatever. Let's move on. All right. Toei announced late last week that Engine Sentai Go-Onger 10 years after is going to happen. It's called the 10 Years Grand Prix, and pretty much all we know is that the original cast is returning. That means we're getting Go on Red, Go on Blue, Go on Yellow, Go on Green, Go on Black, Go on Gold, Go on Silver. All 7 of them are returning, as well as the Seiyu for Bumper. And in addition, the series' second writer is going to be writing the film, Sho Akiwa, and the actual series director, Katsuya Watanabe, will be directing this film. It's set to release on September 26th, and it will be on Blu-ray and DVD. So, guys, from the little teaser trailer, what can you take from this, except from the crap that we know that somehow Saki's no longer a Go-Onger now?
I think she.
Oh,
I think she is. Like, she's just a matter. They forgot that girl. They couldn't find her costume.
no, I think it's like some people have said that since she's grown, since they made her the coat just doesn't fit her anymore. So like everybody else was like at least like 18 or something. So they didn't grow, but she was, I think, 15. So she grew since then, and her jacket doesn't fit anymore.
Plus she has assets now that yeah, because I own
Decent assets. Decent.
Would you say she blossomed into a woman?
Yeah, let's just hope her bitch of a sister Sane isn't still doing shit.
Oh yeah. Her weird slutty sister that ruins her life everywhere she goes.
This is a fact.
Now, we're not actually talking about the actress. We're talking about the character for all
the
those
character,
of you who have
yeah,
never
the
seen
character
Go-Onger before.
sister.
Yeah. Now, you can go watch Go-Onger by either downloading it from TV Nihon or from the guys who did the HD scrubs whenever they upload it again, since Toei took them down.
Yeah, Earthly subs.
Yeah, Earthly subs got Toei subbed in the ass with a nuclear missile.
I think they re-upped it by now, so...
And the real reason why they probably got taken down was because they misthought it was something to do with freaking the 10 Years Grand Prix. For a fact that was probably that.
It was probably just a coincidence.
I think not. Coincidences don't just happen. We've learned that from so many TV shows. They're planned, man. Universal plans this shit. But let's move on to the other thing we have to talk about. The V cinema known as Uchu Sentai Kyuranger vs. Space Squad, which is a part of the V Center Next project. It takes place 4 years after the events of Kyuranger, and with the universe at peace, who's gonna fuck with it? Well, guess who? It's Hammy, that's who. Because she steals the Neo Kutama, so Tsurugi's like, well, Hammy's gone rogue, which means this is a bad thing. We're gonna have to go actually, arrest her. But Lucky is like, nah, you can't arrest Bay, and other Q Rangers are like, yeah, you can't arrest Bay. So we have a Q Ranger Civil War. This is Captain America's Civil War, and pretty much Space Sheriff Gavin and Scheider show up to play mediators, going, hey man, let's just all get along and go stop, Benny Kiba, because Mickey Har is obviously possessing Hammy. So Evil Space Ninja from the main continuity is possessing Space Ninja from an alternate universe.
They're telling me Mickey Hara's inside Hammy?
I don't think she's actually inside her. I don't think she's actually in her.
Knowing our luck,
because it's directed by Koichi Sakamoto. So yes.
So of course it is. And since it's Sakamoto, we're gonna get hot chicks in short shorts and/or showing off their legs.
Lots of legs.
Yeah. Since Sakamoto's a leg man, so
we can tell that by this alone, he was probably a huge Stacy Keibler fan when he was in North America.
Oh.
I mean, judging by his work, like not just in Toku, but with stuff like 0091, yeah, he's a leg man.
He likes lesbians and he likes legs.
And I do not blame him.
He's more pervy than all of us combined.
I don't know, not as much as Oga.
Okay, maybe Oga is the greatest perv of all time.
He's like Jiraiya's number 2 to Oga.
Pretty much. Pretty freaking much.
There's that one character Todd Habercorn plays in that anime. I can't remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure there's one more.
Now here's the question though. From this trailer though, what did anyone actually gather from it? Like, I didn't really see the Neo Kutama at all. I didn't see much of anything in this entire incident,
Is that good or bad? They don't show us hardly anything.
Like, all I got from it was that it's a Q Ranger Civil War, and that's practically all it was. Like, the entire trailer was like, we're fighting each other, and I'm like, why are you fighting? It just made no sense. It was kind of weird.
Why are we fighting over Hammy? I mean, wouldn't you fight over Hammy?
Well, I mean, this does prove a point, Projekt. This is now the reverse harem starring Hammy. Wait, Projekt? Projekt? We prophesized this day.
Kind of did.
Oh, shit. Oh, you didn't know? Dun, 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 dun. You better go watch the backlog. Dun, 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 dun. Now, I just wish I remembered which episode it was when we actually brought up the fact that Kyuranger is actually a reverse harem starring Hammy. Anyone want to go back and rewatch it for us and tell us which one it was? Please do so and leave it in the
I
comments
don't know,
below.
but I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, I'm the one who said it.
Well, no, you were the one who said it. But I just don't remember what was the episode where we first coined the phrase reverse harem starring Hammy. But yeah, no, for additional information that people may have forgotten, other than Koichi Sakamoto directing this film, it will be written by head writer of Kyuranger, Nobuhiro Mori, and, it's going to be screened in theaters in June with a home release in August. Now, the thing about this is the V-Cinema Next is actually supposed to be a limited-time theatrical run before going straight onto home video, which is actually better than just being on home video if you think about it, because it's kind of almost like how, they're treating the, Digimon Tri OVAs, where you get a theatrical run and then you get it released on home video and yada, yada, yada. But nevertheless, though, that's really all the news we have this week. Before we go right into our space discussion, is there anything else we should probably talk about? Anything else? Any other cool news you guys want to talk about? You got, just a few minutes? Nothing? We got nothing? We good?
Nope.
Alright, we got nothing, because there's no probably breaking news either on Twitter, so... Until then, we await for more Power Morphicon guest announcements, because I expect us to get some in, the next week or two. I expect it. But watch we be denied. Alright, it's time for another freaking discussion topic here on Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Yes, it is. It's always time. It's Vader time.
Not this time.
No, it is time.
It's not. It's time for.
No, close enough. Close enough. It's close. It's close, because it's actually Uchu Kita space time, because we're doing Tokusatsu in space.
5,
and,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Rangers in space. Alright, so...
Guys, congratulations, you guys can count. Awesome. You guys are really...
No, Projekt. We can count better than Megatron. 5, 4... what was it? 5, 3, 4, 2, 1?
2, 1.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3. 5, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Yeah. And the only reason we remember this is because of all those times we had to try to complete every wave of escalation on goddamn Fall of Cybertron. And who was the one who noticed it? Was it you, Projekt, or was it Darkon who noticed that?
I think it was me, actually.
It was visible.
It was me that noticed it.
And then we started laughing because we actually, as soon as we realized, I'm like, wow, that actually happened.
5, 3, 4, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah, that's still one of the
ready, go.
craziest things. But yeah, no, we wanted to talk about, Tokusatsu in space, due to the fact that, Kyuranger by now is already done. It's over. We're recording this in advance. We haven't seen the ending yet for most of us here, since we're recording this literally, close to the eve of, its finale. And we just want to talk about how space actually is a huge benefactor to the overall product in Tokusatsu. Your Daikaiju, your Toei-run, space sheriffs, your metal heroes in general, your Kamen Riders, your freaking Sentai characters. Then you have, the Chosei series. I think Ryo Kendo had a bit of space involved with it, due to I think some of them being based on constellations yet again, similar to the Chosei series. And I don't think Garo really has anything to do with space. It has dealing with mythology of, demons at night.
Garo's mythology, spirituality.
It's fantasy, so the only thing related to space would be nighttime, and that's the only time when, medieval.
Well, there is that one horror that Thane Kamei was in season 4, but that kind of doesn't count because he was constellation based, but whatever.
Got a point.
Yeah.
You know, white dude from Zero Black Blood. Yeah, that was him. But yeah.
Yeah, no. So that was one thing I thought we should talk about, is just the fact that when it comes to space, it is a huge benefactor. And when you think about it, the one that first started the whole space kind of thing with Toku is still Daikaiju and Ultraman per se, because with
Space Godzilla.
No, actually, Space Godzilla came later.
Space Diabetes.
That came before Space Godzilla was in Space Godzilla, but not the Space Godzilla sound that's referring to.
Yeah, I know.
No, because the first time,
Space Godzilla there for you.
Because the first time we ever deal with space is when we deal with King Ghidorah, and then eventually the Exilians, because they're supposed to be representative of Russia at the time. They're literally communism.
Space Russia taking over the Earth. Space Russia killing all your friends.
A happy moment.
Like when you think about it, like always when it comes to space and kaiju films, they're usually a representation of the threats in this time period of the 60s and 70s, and it's kind of like a reference to communism because all of the aliens usually look alike, they dress alike, and it's like kind of the fad for mostly the Showa Godzilla series. I mean, you have Exilians, you had the Keylocks, you had, well, technically the space monkeys from the black hole.
I hear space monkeys, and all I can think about is Gundam Crossbone.
Yeah, because wasn't there a monkey in Crossbone?
Yeah, there was new type
Monkey
monkeys.
Squadron.
Yeah, new type monkeys. Anyways.
So, like, the thing is, like, when you think
New
about
type
it...
monkeys make more sense than new type dolphins, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing, is, like, when you deal with Godzilla, most of the alien, villains were actually, like, invaders, They're just always seen as invaders. And I think it even rolls over to most of the tokus of today, where if it's a threat from space, it's supposed to be, like, a reference to the threat of an outside country, but rather than labeling, country and realism, they're doing, science fiction, so you can get away with that whole, oh, we're protecting the Earth to protect humanity, to protect society. And it kind of sort of, is a friend once said to me that when Japan does the space route of villains, it's kind of also like an allegory to sort of like their xenophobia back in the day. They're like afraid of the outside world.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily the real threat that they're trying to do.
How about we talk about the fact that every Power Ranger villain is like an evil space alien?
Yeah, that's the funny thing, is like everything for Power Rangers is also space. Even when they're
Rita
not.
from space. Ugh.
Even when they're
Wizards and shit from space. Mechanical dudes from space. Space pirate. Ooh, Dark Spectre, Astronema, blah.
Like, it's weird, because, like, Power Rangers rarely, like,
The
seem
demons
to do
were from
stuff,
Earth, though.
Yeah, like, demons are
Oh, yeah.
usually
I heard
from
they were
Earth.
created in a nightclub with a wine bottle.
No, they weren't. Stop it. Stop it, you. You and your devil man. But no, like, that's the thing, is, like, when you look at Power Rangers, it's always usually space, unless it's a demon. Then, with Sentai, it jumps around. Sometimes their version of a space alien is actually from an alternate dimensional being, who's just also an alien from that alternate dimension they were from. So it's like, even when it's not an alien in our universe, it's an alien from another universe!
That makes all the difference in the world.
Because think of it, like, the Varam, they're like a bunch of different, like, beings from another world.
Oh yeah, they're interdimensional.
Still, yeah.
So
yeah. They've crossed over dimensions, and they're aliens no matter what, because they're interdimensional aliens at this point. There's other interdimensional aliens. There's aliens that don't even make sense.
The back dimension, yeah.
And, like, when you think of space, why do you think usually the villains, are from space normally? Like, it's always normally villains rather than the teams dwelling in space. Like, I think the first time Toei ever thought to do, heroes from space is still the space sheriffs themselves. Like, they're actually...
And then later Kyuranger.
Well, Kyuranger, and technically, technically the Five Men would be space since they weren't born on Earth.
Well, some of them... But yeah, they weren't born on Earth, they were born in space.
Well, yeah, the Five Men. Then later, the Denzi Men, right? Weren't they aliens?
Denji Men, and then
Flash
Man.
Flash was aliens too. So
yeah, that's kind of the thing. So like, when you think about it, aliens are either villains, and they're usually sometimes a motif, but not usually your heroes. And I guess best way to go in this is like, sound out what do you want to talk about? Because like, there's so much we can talk about when it comes to space. There's always so much to talk about.
Space is awesome.
Space.
I like space. I like spaceships. Spaceships are cool. Yeah, usually when it comes to Toku and space, you get alien invaders is a big common theme.
Mm-hmm.
You also get a lot of, heroes from space to save the Earth kind of thing. That's pretty much it. I mean, I think the only series to be like, yeah, let's go to space was Forze.
Uchu, Kita, yeah, it's
like,
space time.
Their whole concept was that they were at a high school that helped study like science and space exploration.
And crazy cults, as we've come to know.
That was just a side effect.
Yeah.
Then again, with the whole Zodiarts thing, it was kind of already a crazy cult to begin with.
Only it's an actual crazy cult that supposedly, eats people, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, eating people's not bad. It's what the horrors do.
Hashtag go consult your local Happy Science branch to learn more today. Or not. It's up to you.
You know, we could talk about space. How about we talk about our favorite series that has space elements in it?
Oh, good idea.
Yeah,
Then you can go first on Invisible Ninja.
Oh, right. Well, space elements. Well, Forza would be one, even though personally, like, I didn't, like, it was kind of a middling series. Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't, like, it's in my top 10, but it's, like, not in my top 5, if you know what I mean.
I
But
agree.
overall,
I agree with Forza kind of just being in the top 10 and not the top 5. And
Yeah.
that was the thing, was that Forza really resonated with me when it aired because I was still in high school. But afterwards, I'm like,
plus, it had 3, smoking chicks, including one of them being a goth, and goths are awesome because tootsies. And because she was actually played by Shiho, is actually a Griver idol I actually like. But anyways, more pertinent. Obviously, there's the space sheriffs because, you got to have them in there because they're mega awesome, especially, Gavin and the others. Other than that, well, Kyuranger, like, it's not done as of recording, but it will be done when this airs. But overall, I've enjoyed that. It was very slow to get started. It kind of moved a little. Well, I guess it was the opposite problem, actually. It got started a little too quickly, but once it started slowing down, it started becoming actually a pretty damn good show. And the other one I would really like is Flashman, because I don't know. There's just something about it that I like, and two, it's because it aired the same year I was born, so I don't know. I just like things like that. So
All right, Projekt, you take a swing at this. Did he die on us?
What? No,
Take a
I'm still here.
Tokusatsu in space. Talk about like favorite series and stuff in Toku.
Right, all the space sheriffs. Come on now. Space is in their name. Come on.
Gavan, Shavan, Scheider.
You know what the sad part is though, is that they rarely do space exploration kind of stuff. Like they're just
But they're from space.
Yeah,
They fought space.
I know.
criminals.
They're fighting space criminals, and they're planted on Earth to stop them and do other crazy stuff.
Don't you find it weird that in a lot of like space themed series they always end up on Earth and somehow Earth plays a key role in everything?
Because it fits the budget.
well, of course. I mean, look at Kyuranger. They're like, oh, we're gonna bounty around to all these awesome alien planets. Oh, we're actually gonna be stuck on Earth for most of the series. All right.
Or something that looks like Earth.
I mean, like Kyuranger, like the
Yeah, because if I recall, Spielbahn
tried
actually went a
finding
few
new
times to
locations.
space.
Yeah.
Like the Kyuranger production team actually tried to find new locations to make it seem like Alien World instead of just being the same old warehouse.
It's true. But yeah, no, Gavin was my introduction to Toku, so it was great. I've forgotten so much about Toku now because I've been such a long
Well, Project,
follower.
don't forget, the greatest sequel to the Metal Hero series, or should I say the Space Sheriff series, Zydos. You remember that one. Your people created it.
Well, Wheelz, goodbye and good night.
Oh God.
Goodbye.
Well, now we lost Projekt.
Oh God.
Hey, man, I just had to remind Project of the greatest thing the Philippines created. The son of Scheider.
Wheelz, hey. No. I was about to say you have just wait, he's from Canada. God damn it.
No, you know what no, here's the saddest thing. This is the saddest thing, right, Project? I was in a Facebook group just yesterday, I think, and people were talking about what the F was Zydos, and a bunch of the Filipino members said, we apologize for this abomination.
It's like every country has one. Canada has Justin Bieber, we have Zydos. America has, that guy who runs your country right now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Logan Paul, but then again, I don't know where he's from.
Well, he's from America, so yeah. Logan
Yeah, he's
Paul.
American. So.
I'm not gonna lie, I always thought he was like from Sweden, because he
That's
fits that.
PewDiePie. That's the other
he
asshole
fits
that
that.
we're stuck with.
Yeah, he fits that weird description of Aryan race guy that isn't actually German, but Aryan race.
Anyways, yes, Gavin pretty much kickstarted my addiction to stuff, and Wheelz fully knows exactly what happened afterwards because I told him all the stuff I bought.
Everything.
All of the Gavin.
Anyway, moving forward, continue.
All right. Sound out. I guess you or me.
I'll go.
Okay.
I loved Forza in high school, but if I have to pick my favorite space-based series, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lines of Coke. I mean, 5-man.
Don't leave some of that right now.
Five man's great. I love 5-man. I'm looking at 5-man mecha on Mandarake, and my wallet's already starting to shoot itself.
Yeah, their mecha are pretty damn expensive on the aftermarket.
What's sad is that of all the Power Rangers Sentai mecha, they're actually the cheapest.
Yeah, I know, like, shit. Vintage Sentai mecha is, like, especially if we're talking, like, 80s, is ungodly expensive now.
Oh, look, here's a live boxer for 150,000 yen. Open package damage, parts missing, stickers not used, metal plating minor damage.
Don't forget the plastic shall be yellow, too.
Actually,
probably.
This plastic's pearly white. Yeah, Sentai mecha is kind of a conundrum because basically anything before Power Rangers goes for a lot of money, and then the Power Rangers versions of things go for more than their Sentai mecha counterparts for the modern age, which is weird.
It's madness.
Yeah. But it's funny because 5-man's in this weird spot where it wasn't as popular, so the aftermarket price is lower, and then Jetman is stupid expensive because it's really popular. Yeah. Anyways, there's a tangent about Sentai mecha. But hey,
it was bound to
5-man's
happen.
changers go for cheap, so I already got both of those. So I have my 5-man toys.
Anything else? Nothing.
Not really, no.
Oh, you didn't come prepared, did you?
Do I ever
Obviously.
come prepared?
Usually you do.
I never come prepared. I just kind of like make shit up on the fly.
Yeah, well, no, that's what you're supposed to be here for. The fly guy.
No, honestly, like when it comes to Space Sentai or Space series in general, I love Kyuranger a lot. And Space Sheriffs are pretty neat. I actually haven't finished any of their shows though, so.
Found out. Come on now. You don't say you like Kyuranger. You only like Cammy, okay?
I like Kyuranger's mecha.
It's okay. It's okay to like Cammy. We all do. We all know Kyuranger's really a reverse harem. It's not a Sentai.
It really is 10-2. It's just not a good number. And then Tsurugi keeps stripping all the time, so that doesn't help either.
Well, he is fucking legendary.
Yeah, his abs are legendary too.
Legendary, okay?
Legendary.
Legend, a legend, a legend, a dream.
Alright, so I guess I go, because like when it comes to actual series that use gimmick of space, I think I prefer, like I said at this time, Kyuranger, because it is the most space-centered oriented series for Sentai. When it comes to villains, when it comes to your actual team, it's the one that actually tries not to be too grounded on Earth, even though it's set on Earth. Whereas, like, when you look at the Space Sheriff series, as me and Projekt joke, they're from space. Either they're, half alien hybrids originating from Earth, or they're actually from Earth that were hospitalized and sent to, live and train at the Space Sheriff's planet Bird. But then, they're just chosen to protect, the basic Milky Way solar system of the Earth and all the other planets, and then they're stationed on Earth to stop, space mafias from taking over. And it's kind of weird. I think Spielbahn actually, I think, tries to do a lot more with that whole space element at times. I haven't seen it entirely to know for sure, but it does try to play off more with space. The B-Fighters, they deal with, I think, dimensional and also space villains, but their powers come from, an weird bug alien from space, too.
Plant Yoda.
Pretty much. Plant Yoda. Yes, Plant Yoda. He is Plant Yoda. And that's the thing. As for Rider, Forze's alright. I just don't think it's that great. Like, I think it's one of those shows that people will enjoy, but not fully, like, fall in love with. They won't say it's their favorite Rider series. They won't say it's the worst Rider series. They'll say it's alright. It's alright. I think Ishinomori wanted to do a space-themed Rider.
Super 1.
Yeah, I think Super 1 was supposed to be space, or he really wanted it to be space, but he couldn't do it with the budget.
Super 1 was designed to go into space, but I don't think he ever did.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I wasn't sure if it was Super 1 or whatnot, because I remember reading about it.
Yeah, it was Super 1, like, I think it's even explained in the series, it's like Super 1's designed for space travel, but they never did anything with it, kind of like how they barely touched upon X being made for underwater exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember X was supposed to be like a water base, and then Super 1 was supposed to be a space base, and then they were like, fuck it. It's kind of like how, like, with Kamen Rider Black, and Black RX, like, obviously Golgum is like some kind of weird manifestation from like space that's kind of like I would say almost Guyver-like they're the ancient ones that created the Zoonoid mutants, and like the Century King is originally from space, because like when what is it? The Crisis Empire comes to Earth, they already know of the Century King.
Crisis Empire.
Yeah, they already know of the the Century King kind of scenario. They're like, oh crap, we got to go take ever out who inherited the powers, and they're like, well, this guy, the Black Sun, Kamen Rider Black, did it, so they hunt him down and try to take him out, and then they utterly freaking fail. So it's like one of those things where it's like, obviously it makes kind of sense, like the whole idea of the sequel. It's not one of the best sequels out there, but it's the fact that it is a sequel is really interesting. I still love that, Black is like one of the only tokusatsu series to actually have a direct freaking sequel when it deals with the Rider or Sentai based stuff with Space Sheriffs. The first
with Rider, it's interesting because like the original five shows between Ichigo and Stronger are all sequels to each other.
Yeah, they're done like the Space Sheriff style, but none of them ever actually carried over your lead. They never.
Yeah, the lead wasn't carried over. Some of the supporting cast was. The only time the leads carried over was Black and Black RX, and then Amazon Season 1 and Season 2.
And like for me, I think that's more one of the first evers in Toku, where everything like the Space Sheriffs or the original Showa Riders, where they're like, oh no, we're still in the same universe, but we're different teams and different characters, but we use supporting cast. The Black
Gundam to Zeta Gundam.
Yeah, like that's why I like Black a little bit more, was that your main character is still your main character, and it's he meets new people to fight alongside him, and I thought that was unique, and that's why I also like the idea of, oh no, that's why what is it, like, as I said, Crisis Empire, right?
Crisis Empire, yeah.
Yeah, they come down and they come to fuck up Earth, is like because they know the mythos of the Century King, kind of, and that's why they kind of were lured to Earth, because they knew the Century King, what was it, if he was to become the Century King again, or the Century King's powers were to rise once more, he would have been able to take over the entire universe. So, like, ironically, the villain brought forth the villain of the next series unintentionally. It's like one of those things. I'd have to rewatch the series, but that's what I remember, is that because they knew the threat of Century King, they came searching him out before he could take over. But other than that, when it comes to Ultraman in space, it's like one of those things where Ultramen come from space, aliens come to invade Earth, and still tries to do like that, moral-esque story about like invaders, humanity's infinite potential. Which, fuck you, Ghost, you ripped off Ultraman.
Always.
Ghost did rip off Ultraman with the whole infinite human potential, when Ultraman's been spewing that shit since the 60s.
It's true.
It's true. It really is.
It's damn true.
I think with like space and Ultraman, like I feel like more elements of space kind of come into play as the Showa era goes on. Because like in the first series, there are aliens, they do stupid stuff, but then like Ultra 7 is heavily dealing with like kind of weird xenophobia of like humanity should be like weary of aliens, shouldn't trust aliens, should fight them. Ultraman Leo and Ace kind of follow that motif. I can't really speak too much for Jack or TaJa, but seeing that they follow 7, they have to probably copy it. Then TaJa, Gaia, Dinah, and a lot of the more modern ones are more about like, hey, we probably should start becoming friends with other races, so we could stop having them trying to always invade us and steal our planet away from us. And what I like about it is that they try to carry over some of the ideas that Tsuburaya worked on with Ishiro Honda and Tanaka at Toho. So like the idea and in the sense, the lineage of Tokusatsu isn't really lost. You know what I'm saying? Because there was I remember a while back, a lot of people were saying with the bloom of CGI in Toei, the idea of practical effects were going to die out eventually with Tokusatsu. But here's Tsuburaya going, we can use practical effects and our CG, where Toei kind of was like becoming a little too centered around the use of CG on their suits and their actors, and like I would say, like, what was it, around Kabuto to 2 people got very worried like CGI was going to replace a crap ton of the Sentai and Rider practical effects. I remember we were all reading about like those weird conspiracy theories, even from Japanese fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember, what was it, Sound Out, you brought it up one time, we had a huge discussion about it, where I remember it was from watching CS Toys when Mr. S was talking about how CG, like, he was also afraid CG was going to destroy what Tokusatsu actually was. And I don't think that, because if you think about how Japan is about honing their crafts and the styles that they've specifically, in a sense, perfected or made renowned, like certain types of carpentry and the like ways of martial arts, they have that idea of we look towards the future, but we don't forget the old. So it's like
Yeah.
people always say, oh, like with Kyuranger, oh, it uses a lot of CG for Zords and stuff, but I'm like, it still uses practical effects once the Zords are on screen, you know? We rarely see them do very bombastic stuff with the CG. It's usually the CG around them, but the suits are still, you know, a guy being held up on a podium or a couple of wires, making it look like he's dashing forward in space. I mean, the closest thing to an almost full-on CG Zord battle, I think, is the Go-Kaio fight, when Go-Kaio fought Ghost Go-Kaio. That was a lot of CG. So since we talked about favorite series, though, like, that actually dwelled with space, should we probably talk about, like, favorite villains of space, like, oriented teams, or elements themselves that incorporate space, like, aspects, you know? Like, should we talk about, you know, how they were able to just do certain things that worked well to pay an homage to space travel or flight? I don't know. I don't know where to go with this, since, you know, usually I was hoping Soundout would be able to back me up with a plan here.
Well, you know, sometimes plans just don't happen.
I know, it's terrible.
Sometimes you have a
Obviously.
plan and then you just lose track of it throughout the day.
Yeah. I mean, I sat here trying to, you know, work the plans. I tried so hard.
Well, you tried so hard, but in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Because you're all
It's not the tune on
jabroni.
purpose because YouTube would kill us.
No, I think early Linkin Park now they now allow as non-copyright because
Oh,
too
that's
many
good.
people use it. Use that.
Well, what do you think we haven't seen in relation to space-based elements in Tokusatsu? What do you think that what part of space do you think still needs to be explored in Toku?
That's actually a better question than like talking about like homages. Actually, you know what? I think one of the things that we need to actually do with space travel is similar to how Power Rangers tried something with Lost Galaxy, where they never really were on Earth the entire frickin' time. But
Once they left Earth, they never went back.
I think we need to do a thing like that, but make it where instead of them having like, you know, a weird satellite city in space, make it that like it's them actually having to land on the planets consistently. Like, here's the idea. Maybe just make it that like you create a universe where you don't need too many prosthetics and features like they did in the first couple of episodes of Kyuranger to try to make it, oh, look at this, look at, you know, all these alien races they have to save from dark matter.
Look
Why,
at the random blue
yeah,
man.
why don't they just randomly just do it like, oh no, humanity has reached out to different planets now, or we found other planets that humanity, like the same type of evolution strides on, and you incorporate a few other alien, like, you know,
They
just,
board the Starship Enterprise and go learn about new cultures and ideas.
well, I wouldn't say do like a Star Trek kind of thing, but what I'm saying is make it that like do how they have the base Orion, and make it that it's kind of like almost Space Sheriff-ish, where instead of being stationed at one freaking planet, there's actually like almost like Deca Ranger. Make it that they're actual cops being sent out to check the planets, check the area, you know, do real investigations. Because with Deca Ranger, they're supposed to be like a space cops theme, but they're on Earth doing investigations of aliens on Earth, like they're Men in Black. But they never actually showed them going in space, really, except in the 10 years anniversary movie and Space Squad, where they're actually like, oh, yeah, freaking Deca Red's now in the Fire Squad, and the Fire Squad goes around, you know, checking organized crime throughout the galaxy. So do an actual, like, real idea of what Fire Squad is, maybe, for Sentai, where they're actually going to different planets, having to do actual, like, investigations and figuring out what's going on. And I think that can work a whole lot better. Like, do a real, in a sense, cop drama in space, using elements from Space Sheriffs and Deca Rangers. I feel like Space Squad could also be the gateway drug to get them to try that advancement. Because here's the thing, you can still use scenes and sets in Japan. All you gotta do is maybe add, like, fake, you know, Photoshop and CGI over the buildings to make them look alien or futuristic. Like look at, what was it, the building that Zictor used in in VR Troopers. That was a building based out of one of the other Toku series, if I recall, right?
Yep.
So like just make buildings and Photoshop them to make them look like they have weird architectural designs to them, you know? That's
Plus
simple.
Vasquez rocks. Because
Wait,
you always
what?
got to have Vasquez rocks.
I don't get that.
Always have the Vasquez rocks.
Was that on the building?
No.
AKA Kirk's rocks, AKA where the power chamber was in Power Rangers, AKA
Oh yeah.
where they've done a shit ton of other stuff.
But no, what I'm saying is like use interesting architectural features to like try to shape and hide that you're actually filming, you know, regular downtown Japan, you don't, or Tokyo. Like you don't really need to do that. Like I feel like that's something Toei could do. Subaraya's sort of done that, but you can still tell they've green screened the hell out of, you know, these other worlds, these other alien places, which is kind of smart too. And when they've done it, they've used it on their bigger budget movies, you know what I'm saying? Like either direct to video or actual theatrical runs to get away with doing these alien worlds. But I feel like if you want to do one where it's a weekly based show where you're expected to see a new episode, a new world, a new race of aliens or something like that, almost Star Trek wise, you have to dumb it down where it's cost effective, you know? Like you scale miniature props to make it look like new architectural buildings. Film it like it's out of, you know, not out of focus, but you know, in frame and out of frame, so it makes it look like they're actually walking into these buildings or whatnot. Just do that. I think that's one of the things they really need to try. At least Toei does when it comes to space travel. I also think that when they do space theme mechas, I'd like to see something like we sort of saw that was loosely unique in Mega Ranger, where the ships actually also look like space vessels themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would like to see that. I would like to see more different types of space vessels. Maybe mechas that don't require reel on Gatai. I know that would hurt Bandai's marketing, but I'd love to see like how we had like old school mechas where it's only 2 pieces or 3 pieces and still fit a full 5-man team.
Yeah. I always liked, like, speaking of 5-man, I always liked how 5-man would swap around cockpits where, like, you know, everybody would be inside Star 5 or everyone would be inside 5 Robo and, you know, whoever's focus episode it was could take the helm and summon the attack sword and all that. Like, they weren't stuck in their own spots. They could change around a lot.
I also love that part, like an O-Ranger / Zeo, but it made no sense how they actually moved in that tiny little cockpit.
And they always looked like they jumped and then landed in the front seat. But it's like, yeah, that cockpit was small. I don't know why it was so small, but it's weird.
Yeah,
and
like,
really claustrophobic.
Okay, this is a funny thing. Here's another type of cockpit that I like, the Mega Ranger one. I think that cockpit was very functional. That was like one of the most
very
functional
nice looking, definitely.
cockpits ever. And that's the thing that I think with Tokusatsu that they need to try. They need to actually try the idea of not being on the Earth. You can, like I said, you can cheat that system. You can. We've seen it. If they've been in the Orion flying around in episodes, if they've done episodes where they said, oh, we're on another planet, but it's really obviously them shooting in Japan somewhere, they can do it. They easily can do it.
They just gotta go for it.
Honestly, that's what I want to see. When it comes to villains from space, one thing I want them to do is, when it comes to certain elements of how we've seen, you know, space aliens and other dimensional beings and stuff like that, I don't want them to do, like, almost Agent Umbrella stuff where they actually have, like, humanly figures and they're just wearing, like, a helmet or mask. But I want to see, like, more actual human actors again in a series. Like, make the main villains actual human actors that assume monster forms only when it comes towards, like, their final arc of when they're, you know, gonna be killed off or, you know, dying in the final battle. Like, give them, like, a true, like, armored form or monster form. Because, like, we've seen that in other tokus where, you know, they'll actually get more bestial, they'll get more armor plating around them, and we'll still see their human faces. But, like, I would like to see a space one where the aliens, in a sense, are, like, almost a realistic threat. They look, you know, they look like your average Joe on the street. Like if I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see a person that looks almost human exactly. Like, they could have the little, like, diamond things that they had in Abba Ranger to be, like, the people from the Dino Planet, you know, Abba Black had, like, those weird things on his cheek. They, like, just make their difference in what it looks like to be a human so, you know what I'm saying, so minor to still be alien in a sense. Like how in Power Rangers Time Force, Trip is an alien, so they added a weird little jewel under his bangs, you know? Like, just do stuff where they still look so human, where where you can make the story's morals be about like judging humanity kind of stuff, like morals,
Yeah.
and cause like I feel like if you make the threat feel more closer to home, it's a better impactful story, because we haven't seen, you know, really a lot of human actors in the modern age, especially ones that have like really dynamic human-esque stories. Like I think the last one that had any like real like human villain story role was like Juzo, because they're like, oh, why is Juzo a killer? And they're like, because he actually like killed mofos for the sword and stuff, like stuff like that, you
Totes.
know. Or like
Yeah.
with Dayu, she killed the guy that was cheating on her and his wife, and that ended up becoming her Shimonson, you know, like stuff like that. Like I want to see like more grounded in realism, like make it that these aliens are like actual like normal people. Either they were mutated, or you know, seeing their entire planet be destroyed by another group of villains led them to join another group of villains that overcame that, you know, that group of an evil empire, and then they just got used to killing and feeling the pain that they wanted to put the pain on others, you know, stuff like that. Because I mean, when you look back, what is it? The villains from Five Man had like a lot of human actors since what was it? Yutake
There was
Hirose.
like 3
Yeah,
human actors.
yeah, and
4.
Hirose was in there. So it's like Live Man, Five Man, a large human cast of villains, like humanly figured, like in a
And
sense.
nowadays we barely get any human villain. I think the last one was Emperor Zed.
No, no, it would be like the one where we had more than one was Go Busters, because we had two, you know, Go
Yeah.
Busters.
Then we didn't have any monster villains either.
Yeah. So like, I feel like if you do another space series, make your threat almost too human. Hell, make it that the final villain came from Earth, and like some of the guys on the Sentai team are like all you know, mortified that a human could be the one doing all these travesties, you know.
They could get into that moral gray area that Garo gets into.
But we know they can't do that because they're petty,
Extremely.
extremely
It's
petty.
totally.
Toei's about
It's
bringing smiles and friendship
Yes,
and
they make
lunch.
shows for kids. What is wrong with that?
well, there's
Oh
nothing
no,
wrong with
what's
that.
wrong with it is that like I feel like they've lost their spine, that they're not willing to try like adding that bit of darkness that they're kind of known
That's the
for.
thing. They are very clear cut. Like, this is the kid show. This is the adult show. Like, they've got adult toku shows now, so it changes what they do.
What are their adult tokus, you know, for Toei? What are theirs?
For Toei, it's Amazon's.
But Amazon's almost over, so what are they going to do to replace it, you know?
That's the thing, is they're probably going to replace it with something because they readjusted everything. There's been some reshuffling because the people in charge of the tokusatsu are different now.
Like, all I know is if they're going to do another thing like Amazon's, let's hope it's like another Rider series or a Sentai that they could possibly do, or something brand new, because that would be also interesting if they pulled a rabbit out of their
Metal
hats.
Hero. Woo.
Yeah, they could be taking a year off to do the Amazons movie, but also develop the next series.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like when it comes to the Amazons, one of my few issues though with Amazons is actually the fact that not that it's a Rider series, but the fact is I feel like while they do a lot, there's not that much there, because since they chose to, you know, reinvent Showa Riders, I feel like there's also, I don't know, it's one of those weird ones where it's like I like it, I hate it. There's some stuff that I would change, you know, elements where it's like it's hard to pick your poison without feeling like it would ruin the overall product, you know. It's one of those things where I feel like I don't want there to be heavy marketing, like where there's toys and items, but I want to feel like even as a collector, there's things that you could almost get at retail, which the only things we've gotten were figure arts, and the Rider belts were all P Bandai exclusives, which kind of was discouraging.
I have no idea why the season 1 belt was a deluxe kid size belt.
Yeah, that either.
CSM
Like
style.
I feel like I feel like they could get away with making like those belts like CSM styled and a mix between CSM and deluxe, but finding a way to still make it somewhat achievable by a general audience that probably is viewing it. But at the same time, I feel like they don't want to take the risk either, which is a huge.
I mean, clearly, Amazon's was an Amazon Prime exclusive. It's not like they just aired it on TV. They aired it on TV later, though. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like one of those things where like I hope that when they do like more of these ideal teen to adult gear tokus, that they can find ways though that they can still do a little bit of marketing. I just don't want vast marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I felt like that was the only thing that hurt, was that I only have a couple of figure arts and I really wanted the belts, but I didn't have the money to just throw down on the pre-orders to get them, and I missed out, and I really wanted to have an Amazon driver.
The new Amazon's driver is a better toy, though.
Oh no, it's a better toy. If I get money for it, I'll try to get it, but I don't know how much it's going for in the secondary market.
It's going for around what I paid. So.
Oh, so then it's still fairly decent, unlike the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But no.
And the cost of admission in the original, the original cost of this, Amazon's driver was higher, so.
But no, the thing that
Season 2 isn't as popular.
All right, but no, the thing about with it comes to your space series, I think when it comes to space, try to do more with the Sentai than you do your villains, because I feel like they sometimes put too much effort into just making the monsters so alien, so unique per se, that they don't actually think to maybe gear the budget towards, the element of why don't we actually do space travel,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they could have actually had in Deca Ranger more villains that weren't just a stunt actor wearing what looked like a suit or a normal human clothing with just a prop head put on top. You could have done actual just human characters that had actual supernatural powers. I'm not telling them to do the stupid how they did the Juman world, where it was just buy fake animal masks from your local freaking costume store. This silence is really killing me.
Well, sorry.
Sorry, we don't really have much else to add, honestly.
Because there's not much else.
You kind of hit every single point.
Pretty much.
Oh, no, I was expecting someone to build off of my points, which is funny.
Yeah, but there's really nothing else to say. I think you covered pretty much everything.
Alright, so since we covered everything, it's time for the, weird shameless plugs. Visible Ninja, you go first.
Okay, follow me on here on YouTube at Visible Ninja Gunpla and Visible Ninja Reviews for Gundam and non-Gundam related stuff, respectively. And follow me on Twitter at Visible Ninja 0.
Alright, sound out.
I'm on Twitter at SoundOut12, on YouTube as SoundOut12. I've also started a GoFundMe page to gather together wine bottles for Power Morphicon, so if you have any cash or any wine bottles themselves and you're going to the convention, just show up and pass me the wine bottles, and we can go to a nightclub and see where the night takes us. But yeah, that's that.
Projekt
1 on Instagram, Projekt RDM on Twitter, and SoundOut. Stop.
Nothing will stop me.
I will stop you. I will stop you.
Nothing will stop me.
I will stop you.
Nothing can stop me.
I will stop you, because you can find Wheelchair21 on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. However, on Instagram, I am TaJa_Doyle, whereas for Hero Club, you can just check the credits to find out how to freaking follow Hero Club. Nevertheless, we'll see you all next week with an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.